I lost the ring my fiancé proposed to me with and I feel so guilty. I feel like I should preface this by saying I have always been a little scatterbrained. Among the things I have lost are my car keys, my wallet. I've misplaced this one so much that my fiancé got me one of those Apple trackers. A very expensive work-issued laptop, I found after 3 days on the subway. A worker held it for me. Jewelry, fiancé once gave me a necklace and I misplaced that. Also, my mother gave me a ring when I was a young adult, lost it a long time ago. Cash, one time I lost half the rent and I looked everywhere for it. Eventually it popped up but I don't know how I missed it. Headphones. About 3 cell phones, I almost misplaced my new one, but I realized soon enough and went back for it. A personal diary / book of poetry. And probably other things but I can't think of them right now. I should also say that I don't really wear jewelry. I wear earrings maybe once or twice a month, and a necklace if I go out. I have not worn a ring since I lost the one my mother gave me. I can't remember the occasion, maybe a birthday. A little backstory that's relevant. A year ago, we were discussing marriage and things. His stance is, my grandparents have been together for 50 years, and they only got married about a decade ago. I don't think you should put a timeline on marriage. It could be 5 or 10 years before you can be ready for marriage. My stance was, if you don't know after 3 years that you want to marry me or not, then don't waste my time. I see so many people, on this subreddit and social media and in my neighborhood, where the guy just leads her on for years and years. Plus I want to own a home one day and I do not want to buy a home with my boyfriend. I do not think it is legally wise to do so. Marriage is important in that if something were to happen to either of us, death, medical emergency, you need insurance etc., then the spouse is usually covered. So I told him you have 3 years to propose, I don't care if it's with a ring pop, when I plan to buy a house. My family also pressures both of us. They have somewhat traditional views about commitment and monogamy. He took this as an ultimatum but said he understood. My fiancé proposed to me last Tuesday. I was ecstatic, relieved, elated, but I also felt the same. I told him I am marrying you, not my family's approval. The only thing I expect to change is that our tax returns will increase and we have a bundle of joy. I am 35 weeks pregnant. That being said, I had this beautiful engagement ring for more than a week. I had been taking it off to wash my hands and then apply lotion. I find the feeling of metal on my wet skin to be very annoying and unnatural. I didn't even notice that I didn't have the ring on until yesterday, when I came home and he asked where's your ring. I immediately started searching for it among my work things but I knew I'd left it in the office. I hoped that no one would take it, like a coworker or a cleaning service person. I went back to work, but the place is locked after hours and I knew management would just say can't you look tomorrow. Before I went home, he called me to check how things went and to see where I was. I sort of told him that I was out, but hearing his voice made me want to cry. I stopped by my godmother's house, whom I'm close with. I was hysterical, afraid that he'd break up with me. She told me that the ring is a material thing, and that I should be more careful, but I don't think he will break up with you if he's as good a man as we think he is. I got home last night, and before I went to bed, I reiterated how sorry I was and how devastated and ashamed I felt at losing something so important in a little over a week. He said not to worry, he has a solution, and that he's not mad, which I found hard to believe but it could have been my own guilt. I went in today and checked my desk, couldn't find it. I asked management if they could check the security cameras, and they said that they have the ring. I was ecstatic. I texted my fiancé and he called me. I took a breath of fresh air, I was so relieved. Then he said, want to know my solution if you couldn't find it? I said sure, and he said, if you couldn't find it, I would have said no problem but we would go back to being boyfriend and girlfriend. And that ultimatum you gave me? It would be a moot point. I would have proposed on my time, whether it's 5 years or 10 years down the line. I was, a bit speechless. He continued, because it would have shown me that you're not ready. Besides it costing lots of money, it's a symbol of our love, and you lost it in a week, which is crazy. Also, it's really embarrassing, because when the people we've told ask where's the ring, what would I say? What would you say? And no, I wouldn't let you replace it, we have the baby to think about, and besides that's not the point. I make more than he does and could give him the money back immediately, though I'd dip into my emergency fund. I asked him, could we maybe compromise, and I get a tattoo and wear it for special occasions. He said no and wouldn't really say much else, just he had to get ready for work. I know what he's thinking. Like here I spent all this money and she don't even want to wear it. I also see his point and just don't know what to do. I still feel ashamed that I can't even keep up with something so important. Comment. I don't have the relationship advice portion but can offer ring advice. So I have a rule for my rings: if I remove them at home then it goes straight to the ring box on the shelf, ring box never moves, and if I remove them outside then 1. Use ring holder necklace, special necklace that I don't have to unclasp, or 2. Put ring between my teeth to wash hands, or 3. I have to keep it on. Make some rules for yourself that you have to follow. Don't put them near the sink, don't put them in your pocket, don't put them in your purse, etc. Also get jewelry insurance. I have Jewelers Mutual, they have good Reddit reviews and are surprisingly affordable IMO. Same here. I have a problem with losing things, so my ring never comes off my finger unless it is going into its box, which always lives in the same spot. Maybe Op could use a chain around her neck? So she always wears the chain, and when the ring has to come off it goes straight onto the chain. It is either on the chain or on her finger, always. I do the same thing with the keys to the basement at work, they stay in my hand until I relock the door and return them to their spot. And I'm the only person who's never lost them, accidentally kept them on their person, or locked them in the basement. It really works. If you struggle with losing/forgetting things, don't put it down, put it away. It does not ever leave your hand unless you are putting it back where it lives. You will never ever lose anything again if you consistently follow that rule. Yeah, this. You need to be able to set hard rules for yourself tbh. I wear my grandmother's jewelry, 4 gold bangles that have not been off my arm in over 5 years except when I've had to get an MRI or when I go through airport security, and her wedding ring, and my rule is her ring is either on my finger or on a chain around my neck. It pretty much only goes on the chain when I'm doing pottery. I remember her making naan with it on and the dough sticking to the ring, so if it survived decades of her cooking, gardening, etc. with it on, it'll survive me doing the same. I am also autistic and hated the feeling at first, but you do adjust if you give it enough time. Wearing glasses took a similar adjustment period of serious discomfort. Jeweler here, and this is the advice. They really should not come off at all if you're not at home, but if you have to, they immediately go somewhere secure where you know where they are. Also, yes, please insure all of your expensive jewelry. I use Jewelers Mutual as a professional and always recommend them to my clients when they purchase a large piece from me. Seconding jewelry insurance. My wife has ADHD and actually lost her ring when we got engaged as well. She was absolutely beside herself, panicking and saying that she didn't deserve to be engaged. We eventually found it. Since then I've made sure to get insurance on every piece of nice jewelry I get her. She hasn't lost any of it since, but it's a huge relief knowing that if something does happen, it's not a big deal. Yes. I keep ring stands around my house and at my desk so anytime a ring comes off it goes on one. I really struggle with losing things. My dad insists I'm the only person he knows who can lose their shoes. I had to start making a very conscious effort to take 10 seconds to look behind me every time I leave somewhere, especially public transport. Ask yourself, do I have my things, and actually check. Keep trying to make a conscious habit of it. Once it saves you once or twice it becomes more ingrained. I still lose things sometimes, but I have never lost 3 coats in 1 week ever again. This up. You need tools. At your desk you have a ring box in a drawer. Then you add a reminder to your phone for 5 minutes before you are supposed to leave. Ring in box at home you have one spot it goes at. Same with your keys and wallet. They go into the same spot in your bag. You are going to have a million more things to manage with a new baby and mommy brain on top of that. You need to set yourself up with a toolbox that works for you. Even if you are not diagnosed ADHD, look into the subs or TikToks for tools that will help you stay on top of your stuff. Next story 2. My partner makes significantly less than me and it's starting to become an issue. I have a boring but stable WFH job. It pays $85,000 and there's steady potential for upward movement. My partner works at a plant nursery making $18 an hour and he loves the job, but there is a near zero chance of making more or moving up as this is a small business. Unless someone dies he's stuck in the same position. All of the other people his age have moved on from this nursery for other jobs or to get married. This has confused my boyfriend because to him an office job like I have would be soul crushing. Mind you, he has a degree, he just doesn't want to work in that field anymore. Him making significantly less than me never really bothered me until we moved to a more expensive apartment and the price of everything went up. Rent is $2,000 and bills/groceries/other expenses are another $600 to $700. I also have credit card debt I'm trying to pay down. All of that upfront cost is on me and he sends me $400 when he can. Student loan payments are coming due soon and I'm not sure how much longer I can keep spending the way I am. My salary is good but it's not enough to sustain a future family. I want to get married and have kids with him. He's truly a great guy. He says he wants the same but he's not in a financial position to propose or move forward with a life together. He also won't look for another job because he's happy at the nursery. We have had talks about him leaving the nursery but he's only willing to leave if he can get his business idea off the ground. He doesn't want to work for someone else. His parents are putting a bit of pressure on him to use that degree they paid for but I think it just makes him more resistant. I guess I'm just wondering what to do at this point. I want to continue to build a life with him but I'm feeling overwhelmed. Update, so thanks everyone for all of your input. It really helped put things in perspective. Points of clarification. We moved to this new place because the more affordable apartment was falling apart. Like we literally couldn't stay there. In the area near his job rent is insane. We are about 45 minutes away and rent is still $1.8k 2k. If we wanted cheaper he would have to quit. He's not full-time so his $18 an hour isn't as much as it would be if he was. His money goes towards car insurance, gas, and his own credit card bills. Yes, I do most of the chores because I WFH and he's tired after work. He pitches in when he can but it's not a 50-50th split. No, the roles wouldn't be reversed because I would never be happy in a low-paying job. Things being financially tight make me anxious so even if he made more than me, if I was in a lower-paying job I would want to make more money. I grew up poor so I could never 100% rely on a man. I just want us to have an equitable partnership. I'm fine with him making less, I just wanted to figure out how to have a more equitable split and some of you provided a great plan. Seriously. On to the update. I casually asked about what his plan is and he says he's going to give the nursery another year. If they don't promote him then he will look elsewhere. I suggested another outdoor job like arborist but he says all arborists are a-holes, which I don't believe but that's his opinion. I asked about other nurseries but his loyalty lies with this one. I want him to work a job he enjoys but I know long term I can't keep getting such little support financially and domestically. I'm not going to wait another year for him to get it together though. I'm not sure what timeline I want but I know it's not that. Since I'm feeling really anxious/emotional right now I'm going to table this discussion for a later date. I'll have my spreadsheets and a clear head so we can have a reasonable talk on what to do moving forward. Again, thank you guys so much for all of your comments. Comment. I was gonna say, I make less than that guy and I'm able to pay about $600/month for rent plus all my other bills, like it's tight but I still have personal spending money after the bills. He should be contributing more than the $400 once a month, though it sounds like it's not a consistent once a month, which is even worse. Agreed. WTH is he spending his money on that he can only contribute $400. I'm a single mom with no help in my state, ex-husband moved us across the country then had an affair. I make $17/hour and can still afford my $1,250 rent and all my bills just fine. So this comment tells me that you need to start looking for a new place that is in a budget you are okay with whether you are with him or alone. And you need to tell him that this new apartment isn't working out, and what your budget is and what his contribution needs to be in a new place, sounds like 30% of expenses based on other comments, and figure out if continuing to live together is viable. If he's not open to living in a cheaper cost of living area that allows him to both keep this job he loves and contribute to the household, you need to put yourself first. This can't go on, so you need to have some hard conversations and make some hard decisions because you are both at an age where you need partners who share the weight of the burdens of day-to-day life, not one who carries that and the burden of the other person. He's currently happy with his low-key life because you've made it easy for him. He lives in a nicer apartment than he would otherwise, closer to work than he would otherwise, with likely more fun stuff provided for him than he would otherwise. What is he providing? No, he is taking advantage of you. It is a different type of abuse, you just do not realize it. If he really wanted this relationship he would do far more and contribute far more. I feel bad for you, Your insecurity and lack of self-esteem due to past relationships has lowered your bar really to the ground, that you do not realize you're in a situation that is just a shit cake with a different frosting. I think you should talk to a therapist and they might open your eyes as to how you are being taken advantage of. $400 is nothing. And you never mentioned him paying for food or other bills. You're subsidizing a man-child. He's not a good guy though. He's not abusive, ignore all the hyperbole there. This isn't financial abuse, but he is taking advantage of your generosity and goodwill. He is not being a thoughtful partner, and he is absolutely coasting through life. Maybe he's immature, maybe he's lazy, maybe he's calculating. I don't know. But you need to find out. And how you do that is by having these difficult conversations, stating your needs and standing up for yourself. You aren't being unreasonable by having these concerns, you aren't being selfish by needing him to consider your needs, and you aren't being pushy by advocating for the life you want. You need to find out if this guy can and will be a partner to you or not. It's just a grown-up conversation that needs to be had. Good luck. That is the first thing you need to tell him. And then you need to move somewhere cheaper, even if he has a longer commute. Would he be any good as a garden designer / landscape architect? Because that would definitely net more and still allow him to work outside with plants. Another point to consider, if you are set to progress in your career and make more and more money, would it really be so bad to have a low-income husband who could become a SAHD, if you plan to have children? Would he be able and willing to manage the household if you focus on your career? Or would he still expect you to do all the chores, even if you earn all the money? In my experience, people who grow up in gardens and work outside with plants have usually calm, happy, well-adjusted, even-tempered personalities and make very good cornerstones to build a family on. Plus they get the kids to help in the garden, which keeps them away from screens.